A few months ago, I was talking with a company about coming in and talking with their female employees, their women employees, about workplace bullying. And I had a contact there. They were all excited about this topic. And finally, she said, you know what? They just want to meet you, the committee. Okay, as a formality. I didn't sign anything yet. But they were really excited about the topic. And I got there. And my contact introduced me, and before I could even get a word out, one person in the room said, I'm so concerned about this topic that people are going to think they're being bullied when they're not being bullied. I was totally unprepared for this, as was my contact person. She thought, this is just formality. We're just going to throw some ideas around and book the date. And that one person took this whole topic for the whole hour. They ended up not booking. So I reached out to someone else I'm acquainted with who talks on this same subject. And I said, have you ever run into this? That people are afraid of having you come talk about workplace bullying because they're afraid people are going to falsely accuse their boss of bullying them. She said, I have a couple times. And I said, well, what did you do? This is what she said to them. Would you prefer that employees come into work every day stressed out about what's going on in their relationship with their boss or somebody else, but we can talk about the boss, day after day, and have it not be addressed because you don't want to address this topic? Is that what you want? Because whether they're being bullied or not, there's a stress going on, there's something going on, and that level of stress in employees means they're not as productive as they could be or should be. They're not as engaged. It leads to a host of other problems. Illness, absenteeism, people quitting. It costs money to replace people who quit. And this usually, she said, gets people thinking. Someone who has this type of concern, that if we talk about workplace bullying, get training on workplace bullying in a company, that all kinds of people are going to start thinking they're being bullied and they're not. That tells me that you actually need a workplace bullying program with training for your people in general and for your managers separately so that they can learn about leading. And the reason is because these kinds of things open up conversations. And when somebody has this kind of concern that, I'm so, people are going to say they're being bullied and they're not, it tells me that there probably is something going on at that company at different levels. They'd rather have people coming in stressed out about their relationship with their boss rather than address it. If employees learn about workplace bullying and managers learn about these kinds of things and leading and communicating better, we can have better relationships between boss and employee. And all of that leads to a happier work environment, which leads to employees who are much more productive in the time that they have at work. They're much more engaged. They get a lot more done. Who doesn't want that? I also heard a story from another trainer who had done some training on workplace bullying for employees in general, then came back 2 or 3 weeks later and met with managers. And before she could even start, a manager raised her hand and said, you know what, I'm really mad at you because after you were here 3 weeks ago, 3 employees of mine came to me and said, I think you're bullying me, and opened up your workbook to say, and here's your workbook where, right here, this is what you're doing to me. She goes, I don't think I'm bullying them, and now I'm mad at you for putting that idea in their head. This was her response. All right. You have 2 choices. Choice number 1 is you can continue being upset and maybe even angry with your employees about this and about what they said, and continue to think, you're not bullying them, and just ignore the whole thing. And you know what? There's going to be tension and there's going to be conflict and it's not going away. Or you have a second option. When we're in these kinds of situations and someone comes to us, especially when we're the one with the authority to fire them, they can't fire us, but we could fire them. when we're in that situation and they come to us and say something like, I think you're bullying me, or I think you're mistreating me, or you're treating me in this way, and we don't think they are, it's an opportunity for us to take a look at ourselves, to take a look at how we're communicating, to take a look at how we're leading, and to learn better ways to communicate and lead these people in ways that lead to people who learn more, people who understand their work and the work around them, and they start connecting the dots and being much more valuable employees because we're communicating better and we're leading better. Now, when this manager heard those were her two options, she said, I never thought about it that way before. And then she settled in and actually learned something that day. As a manager, it's important for you to learn even better ways to manage people and to lead people, to listen and to know how to communicate, how to speak and when to speak. It's important to learn about your employees and which ones need different communication styles. Managers need to learn how to make adjustments to their leadership style in order to become better leaders and managers. The better you are at leading and managing your people, the more you learn and then apply it to your team, the better your team becomes as individuals and as a cohesive team. You can give your employees the opportunity to increase their productivity and to increase their engagement. I can take training seminars on workplace bullying, both for employees in general to learn what bullying is, how to know if you're being bullied, what to do if you're being bullied, what to do if you're witnessing it, and that kind of thing. Then I also do a second seminar and training. This one is for people who lead people, managers, supervisors, directors, and that. And this is to learn about bullying as well, but to learn about how to be an even better manager, leader, how to communicate better, how to make sure that bullying doesn't infiltrate your team, either from within the team or from without. Check the description box below for information. You can check out my website, and feel free to contact me to come into your company as well to schedule some training. And I also do it as a webinar. I like the in-person because you get that touch, but okay, yeah, it is cheaper to do a webinar from a distance, but both are really valuable. I wish I had had this kind of thing when I was younger. Oh my gosh, it would have saved me so much heartache. It would save me so much stress, and yeah, it would have saved me a lot of money, because when we're bullied, we will often make financial decisions just to get away from the workplace bullying. So I hope that doesn't happen to you. If you're watching this and you're being bullied, also check out my book, Not All Bullies Yell and Throw Things, that is specifically for targets. And also, if you can find a sponsor at your company to bring me in to do some training for a department or division, I would love to do that. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hi everyone. You know what? A lot of people have a bad boss or a bad coworker story to tell. And for many of us, in retrospect, there are things that we could have done differently